everyone. So I thought I would try something a little bit different today. So what I'm going to attempt to do is talk to you guys while sketching. So I have my camera set up to sketch on my sketchbook here and hopefully talk to you guys here. So I've never done this before, and today probably isn't the right day to do it because I'm not feeling very well. My stomach and back are both hurting. So I'm going to check out the audio levels and then I'll be back and we'll start. Okay, so I'm not absolutely in love with this audio, so I might be stealing the audio from my camera. I'm just going to play around with it and see how everything goes. So let's get started. Now, I don't normally do this because I feel like once I start sketching, I really get too focused and I won't talk at all. So this video might not even be that interesting. But I've picked out some subject matter and I just need to turn the brightness up and we'll see how it goes. Ooh. Oh no. Oops, I'm knocking the camera around. So yeah, I have, as you can see, I have a page where I've kind of painted on the bottom half and the top half really doesn't have anything on it. So I figured I would fill this in. And also my camera shuts off every 10 minutes, I believe, on recording. So if you see me like stop and restart it and restart this, then I'm just trying to keep them in sync. So let's get started. Yeah. Today I decided, oh, that might be too big. Today I decided I wanted to draw a portrait, and I really hope that you guys are going to actually be able to see my sketch lines because they are super faint. But yeah, I wanted to draw portrait. I've been kind of drawing a lot more recently with my senior thesis, like artwork creation being less now. I've always loved drawing people, but I had to draw animals for senior thesis, which I do love drawing animals too, so like that's not a problem. But it meant that I really couldn't do portraits. So now that it's kind of on break for a little bit, I'm taking advantage of it and I'm really just drawing some people. Let's see, I think I might move her hairline down a little bit. And you know, I haven't really professionally studied how to draw people. It's just been something I've always done myself, but I go to a school where they do teach how to draw people. So I've taken some classes in painting and drawing, of course, and I've definitely learned a lot online on top of like the classes that I've taken here, but I've never really been trained in portraiture art, so when I'm drawing, it's kind of like, what skills have I learned from other things can I put into the creation of this piece? Into what skills, oh my goodness, this is difficult. What skills have I learned from other areas of art, and can I use them, can I use them in creating portraits? Like values, I've definitely learned a ton about values and sketching and coming up with like base layers first, and then you kind of build up, and then you shading and general shapes and like looking at images and drawing them from reference. You know, I've done lots of still lives, and I have taken some classes in painting portraits, but not in a little bit actually. I might come back to her hair later. This is just like I said, this is just general shapes. I'm kind of blocking in, and I am a little bit at a weird angle right now. I wish I could. Let's see if I can turn you. It'll still be in focus. Yeah. Cool. This is kind of where I want to be. And I am looking, if you can't tell, because I don't really know what's in focus here. Yeah, you can't totally tell. I am referencing my phone right on the side. I would say 99.9% of the time I am looking at reference for my drawings. And that 0.1% when I don't use reference, it's super obvious. I don't know about if it's obvious to everyone else, but it is obvious to me. So my computer just tried to go to sleep, so I'm gonna have to be watching that and my camera. That'll be fun. So yeah, the first thing I draw when I do portraits now is the nose. So even though I've never been trained in portraitures, I've been drawing portraits probably since either my sophomore or junior year of high school. So that's like 7 or 8 years almost. Maybe 6 or 7 years. We'll just say 7 years. And so I have kind of gone through different phases of like faces where, I mean, I remember when I used to always start with the lips, and I remember there was a time when I always started with the eyes, and now I start with the nose. And it's kind of interesting to look back and see like how that changed and why that's changed, I guess. And I always do this obnoxious thing where I draw the nose and then I draw the mouth, and then I start shading areas in, and it's like, no, go and sketch the eyes in. What if you need to move some of these things later? But I can't stop myself because shading kind of helps you place things on the paper, and so if it's wrong, I feel like I need to know now. But you know what, it is dumb. I should just move on. But look, I'm sitting here and I'm talking about how I should move on, and I'm not doing it. So art is fun, isn't it? I'm gonna take a few seconds to focus. I'll be back in a minute to the talking. Okay, I'm back now. So I've kind of placed really loosely on the page the eyes and where they're going to be. They're probably going to move as I'm drawing, and that's fine because really that's honestly how you should be drawing. It's just constantly moving, and at least when you're sketching, you know, it's like it's a give and take. It really is. So because sometimes you'll place things and be like, oh, that's exactly where I want it to be, and then as you're drawing you'll realize, no, it's not. And so there's just this kind of give and take where it's like, I make a mark, I take away a mark. There we go. And let's see. This library will be at. So if you're wondering what this black thing is, the label came off, so I can't tell you what the brand is. That is my eraser, and if you're wondering what I'm sketching with, it is a Prismacolor Kohl Erase in indigo blue. That's probably my favorite color that they make, although almost all their colors are beautiful. I do have like a new love for the, I think it's rose, and then there's also violet. Violet's a really pretty one. That's the dark purple one. That's the one I like too. So yeah, that's good. And then I also have my kneadable eraser, which is an eraser, but it's squishy, and it's great because it can like, it does erase, and it erases really well, but also it's really good at picking up pigment off the paper. I feel like this eye should be We'll see. We'll see in like a few seconds. I've recently gotten into the habit of just not quite drawing the bottom lid. Lid, is that the word I wanted? Yes. But drawing like the outside and then drawing the middle. And then shading underneath and letting that speak for it. So, okay, I kind of like that. So now we got to draw the top lid, and I'm gonna give her some over here. I've seen these videos on YouTube before where people like talk to the camera and draw at the same time, and I always thought I would never be able to do it. And right now it feels like it's actually not going too horribly, but when I go back and edit the footage, I might be like, oh my god, Amanda, you're talking so slow and you're not really saying anything. But I thought it'd be cool because a lot of times I'm thinking things while I'm drawing and then I forget to talk about them in the video, or I get to the end and then I'm like, it's not that important. First camera pause. So I want to be making more videos in general, but it's right now I'm doing as much as I can, which is fine by me because I feel like my words are meeting my actions, where sometimes and this is just pressure on myself, to be honest, I feel like I'm saying like, oh, I'm doing the best I can, but then in the back of my mind it's like, oh, but you know, you took a break on Friday and didn't actually do any work, and you sat and worked on other things. And I'm reminding myself slowly that taking breaks, appropriate breaks, so not just like procrastinating, but taking like appropriate breaks isn't bad, and it's not going against my schedule. But in fact, it's actually, taking breaks makes it so that I can produce more art. Okay, I'm not gonna get any closer to this cow. Hopefully you can see him. Yeah, so I'm not getting any closer to him, so I'm gonna probably shade right there and right there, and maybe just like a little bit there, and then make this darker. Okay, so you know, I'm reminding myself that like my best and the most I can do is my best that I can do while also being healthy and taking care of myself. That my best is not working 24/7 and losing sleep and losing some of the activities that bring joy to my life, like reading and hanging out with friends. And my best instead is me working an appropriate amount of time and then taking breaks while I'm doing it, but also working hard in that time. So you know, it's all about doing your best in the amount of time that's appropriate. So don't forget to drink water. And I am so bad about taking breaks and stopping, especially once I get into the hang of working. But that is a problem, and it's something I'm working on. It's something I'm trying my best not to let it affect my life horribly. Okay, let's see. Do I want to draw her hair? I don't know. So let me talk real quick to this camera. So this is the reference I'm staring at right now. One of the things that I was really interested in was how other people sketched. And so I pulled up 2 references specifically off of my Pinterest showing other artists who sketch. I really like how they do it. So both of these kind of have like general shape for hair and then maybe a few dashing lines. So I kind of want to bring that in to my reference. So let's go back and see. So she has this kind of like this, and so I would probably shape like this around her head. And it's really good to, like, one of the problems I fall into is I'm great at pulling up reference for the art creation that I want to make, and then I suck at pulling up reference for artists that I want to kind of follow, because, you know, it's a tricky area in art school. We're told to, most of the time when we start a project, we're told to have reference, of course, for what we're doing, but also reference for how we want it to look. And so I feel like in the art community outside of my school, it's very much like, oh, don't copy, but you're not copying, you're referencing, because you're taking, like, here, let me pull this up. I'm looking at this sketch that's by Loish, I'm pretty sure is how she says it, and I'm not drawing at all like her. Like, you can look at this and you can say, this is definitely not the same as this, like, this is my style here. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, I really like how she shades the hair here, and I like how she shades the neck here, and I like how she uses dark, and lighter, like, shades of the same pencil, and I like how she has like these thicks and thins, and I like how she leaves in her underlying sketch. And so I'm taking that and I'm using that, but at the same time, then my artwork, since I'm taking the reference of her artwork and putting it to a different image, and I'm still leaving me inside of it, it's not copying and it's not stealing. Well, it's both, but it isn't at the same time. It's okay. And if you really feel like, you know, your end image looks too much like the artwork that you're referencing, then I'd say it's still okay to post it, but reference the person you were looking at. Like, when I post this, I'm probably not going to reference, if I decide to post this, I haven't decided yet, I probably won't reference the artist I was looking at because it looks so different from what she actually created. But I might if I was studying it more. And I think there's a certain point too where when you're more of a beginning artist, it's harder to figure out that balance. So I just recommend creating art and continuously creating art. Maybe look at your artists, but don't have their art, like, look at the artists. And there was a Drawing with Waffles video that really taught me this, and it's absolutely amazing, so I'll try to link it below. But it's like, look at the artists you like and find, I think in her video it was one thing, but find maybe 3 things that you really like about their artwork and just list off those things. Like, I listed off, I liked how she shaded, I liked how she used thick and thin lines, and I liked how she used 2 different tones of a pencil. And just list those off on the side, and then pull your reference up and draw it. And see, like, just remember to keep doing things, using those things that you reference that you like, and your style will develop from that. And that's something I've been really trying to do this year. It's March right now of 2019, and I think I just saw this video maybe in January, maybe in December, and ever since I watched it, I feel like she like opened my eyes to the idea of, like, I always understood I was supposed to be referencing this art, but I didn't know exactly how to. And so that was really, really helpful for me, is I feel like everyone had been telling me to do something but hadn't quite explained how to do it. What I might do is I might get my, not my Kohl Erase pencils anymore. I have some of these colored pencils that I got really cheap. Are you the color I like? So these are Faber-Castell Eco pencils, and they're triangles, which I don't know how well you can see that actually, but I got them like really cheap at Michael's because I think they were like less than 10 bucks for, I think it's like 24 of them, and then I got them like 40% off, as one does at Michael's. So I got them when I was like trying to figure out if I wanted colored. As you can see with this cow, like it adds really nice elements to it that I wasn't aiming for, and then once I started getting it, I'm really happy with. And then I painted this bird, and I just, yeah, I'm really happy with the textorial, I don't think that's a word, elements that I've been adding. So I think I'm just, this picture is already very textured, as you can see, because it's just a sketch. So I think though all I'm gonna do is just add in some slight pink around her eyes. And as I was saying, you know, I brought these back and then I realized that these are actually exactly what I wanted from colored pencils, because I feel like they're smooth, they're not rough. I like cheaper colored pencils can tend to be really rough, and that's not fun. So yeah, these are like some good quality pencils that I managed to pick up for cheap, and they are wood, they're triangles, so they don't roll away, which is great. But then they blend really nicely, but also I don't really use them as like a blending tool, do I? So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, overall I feel like I got a good variety of colors. I should just show them off sometime. Probably not this video. But yeah, I have a good variety of colors, and there's like a there's one blue one that is so much shorter than the rest because I pretty much use it on all of my pieces as like a shading technique. So what am I doing right now, you're wondering? I'm adding in some pink to areas where there would be more pink in her face. I'm no longer looking at my reference. This is kind of just something that you figure out and you learn watching other artists, learning about the human body. You know, the blood, where does the blood course more, slash I really want her to have pink around her eyes and in some shadowy areas just to help differentiate between them. And then yeah, I'm adding it into a few other areas to just kind of balance out. I don't want there to be too much pink in one area and not in the other. So I'm gonna start with my white, which is absolutely amazing, and I'm just gonna add in just around her eyes, I think, and probably her nose, and just maybe like a touch on her lips. This pen, I recently bought this pen. I was using a different white gel pen before this, and I hated it, and then whenever I'd look online, people would be like kind of complaining about different gel pens, and I was just like none of them were quite what I wanted. And so I was just like, well, I'm not gonna buy a new one. I'm just gonna, for years I just stuck with the one I had, even though I really hated it. And I finally bought this one, and I was kind of pushing it off because it was like $2 or $3, but I got it on sale, of course. So I finally just was like, you know what, just do it, Amanda. You're gonna use it, even if it sucks. Well, and the reason why I finally decided to do it is because I bought these because my mom had a Uniball Signo metallic pen, and when I was home I was using it over winter break. Oh, your nostrils are moving, girl. I was using it over winter break and I loved them, so I went to the store and I found them. First I could only find the set, and then I looked in the right place and I found some individual ones, and so I have a few of these pens and I loved them. And so finally I went to the store and I bought the white one very recently, and I love it. I love it so much. It's exactly what I wanted from a gel pen. I feel like as long as my painting is dry, I'm gonna turn you a little bit, as long as my painting is dry, it goes on absolutely amazing. And you know, I don't expect a gel pen to work over wet paint, so that doesn't bother me, but I feel like my old gel pen wasn't even going over things when they were dry. So yeah, so I'm definitely wanting to do another video about these soon. So yeah, what I'm doing now, in case you're wondering, if you're watching this video, you're wondering what I'm doing, is I'm touching up some of the areas that are supposed to be darker, that maybe once I added the pink, I realized it kind of took away from the contrast of those areas. And so I'm kind of adding it back in with this blue in little places. I gotta be really careful not to go too far, because I tend to do that. At least I think I tend to do that. It's one of the things I've noticed about my art. There we go. Better. And then what I'm going to do, oops, is right there a little bit, and then just feed you in. Nice. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it quits. So what I'll do is I will date it so that later I can remember when I made this. I'm really bad about apparently remembering what the date is that I read off my watch 2 seconds ago, but also I'm really bad about remembering to date things. So I hope this video was informational and helpful, or at least entertaining, even if it wasn't informational. Back. I think I enjoyed this. I think I enjoyed this a lot. So I think I'll try to do this again sometime in the future. Let me know if you liked it or not. Check back in. I post Mondays and Thursdays. So yeah, I'll have links below to where you can find me online. So I will see you soon. Bye.